Welcome to the Bucher and Friends podcast, co-starring 10-year NBA center Ryan Hollins.
Couple pump fakes, leans in, shot blocked by Ryan Hollins. Hollins sent that into the third row.
6 rebounds and 8 assists.
Hollins climbs the stairs.
Down the floor. Ryan Hollins! He is the high jumper!
That's what I want to see. Give me some gunpowder and throw the hammer down.
And now, here is your host,
Let's send it over to Ric Bucher.
Ric Bucher.
Welcome to another episode of Bucher and Hollins, subsidiary of Bucher and Friends, part of the United WeCast Network. I'm Ric Bucher. You can see me on FS1, you can read me on Bleacher Report, and you can follow me on Twitter at Ric Bucher. He is Ryan Hollins. You can see him on ESPN. You can see him on TNT. You can follow him on Twitter at the Ryan Hollins, and you can find him on Instagram at Ryan Hollins. All right, so we are recording this post Game 1 victory by the Toronto Raptors. So I want to start here. What would be the biggest overreaction to what we saw in Game 1?
You know what, Rick? I felt like it's so tough to react because I don't think I've ever seen a more mellow into like a Game 1 of the finals. Like, I just didn't see a sense of urgency. It just looked very, very relaxed, very calm. No drama. I mean, the most drama we see is Drake talking trash to Draymond. Like, that's all we got. Everybody went Kawhi Leonard on us, man.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because my daughter was watching the game with me, and the first thing she said was, "Why is he talking? He didn't play. What's up with that?" Now she's a baller, so she feels like if you're playing, you can talk all you want. If you're a rapper on the sideline, why are you calling somebody trash? What's your take on that, Ryan?
I completely agree. Like when you get to the point where you're calling somebody trash, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to be a fan, and then you kind of attack somebody personally. So when you're calling somebody trash,
yeah,
and you're talking about something you've never done, it's a problem. And keep in mind, there's a little history there. I don't know if you saw, I posted something where Draymond goes, "Have you ever seen Drake play basketball? I'm not worried about a guy who airballs shots or couldn't make a layup to save his life."
Yes.
So I don't know if he felt some type of way from that it spurred from there, but just regardless, it's a little, it's too much. It's too much because now you're actually at my place of work doing this.
It's a bad look on multiple levels. First of all, you're playing the champions. You're playing a defensive player of the year. You're playing an all-star. There's no point, especially when you're not playing, you don't get to rattle the cage. Because whatever you cause as a result of rattling the cage, you don't have to answer to. Your team's going to have to answer for it. Pascal Siakam might have to answer for it. But Pascal didn't say anything. So he's got to take up for something that you started. And again, I don't know that Draymond's going to take it out on anybody or whatever, but you've added some fuel to his fire that now you don't have to deal with, somebody else does. And I just find that as bad form. And I also find you're in the finals. You're playing against the two-time defending champions. You have no place calling them trash. None. That's disrespectful for what they've done, no matter what your feelings are about, your personal feelings are about your interaction with somebody.
Well, keep in mind, Rick, he did it with Giannis, a potential MVP of the league.
Yeah.
And they go on essentially to win 4 straight. And I was thinking the same thing. How's Giannis going to react? The nice thing about Giannis plays hard no matter what. And it's so funny. I had to think about this, Rick. Kawhi Leonard is so far opposite of that that you can't even get fueled up to play against Kawhi because he's not going to say anything to you. You know what I'm saying?
You know what it is?
Even with Drake talking,
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you feel like, oh, is this how you really feel? Like, there's none of that with Kawhi. There's
No.
none of that.
Kawhi's like a black hole. He just sucks the energy out of you. He's not firing you up. He's kind of taking the energy away from you just because there's nothing there.
Dude, I don't know if you compete in anything and somebody tears you up and they're not saying anything, or they're just kind of like,
that's the worst. It's the absolute worst. It's like this guy's killing me, and it doesn't even seem like he cares.
Gosh, dude, it's the absolute worst. That's Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah,
and it's the only scenario where I think it fits, because if there's someone kind of even kill, you're going, is that how he thinks? Are you speaking for him? What's up? And then it drives you.
Yeah. I will say this, and I don't think this is an overreaction. A lot of people would suggest it's an overreaction. I was shocked by what I saw in Game 1, because what I saw Kawhi Leonard go by Andre Iguodala. I saw Pascal Siakam go by Draymond Green, not once, but at least twice. Those are arguably their two best defenders. Klay Thompson certainly in the conversation as well. The fact that they won those one-on-one matchups against their best defenders is a scary proposition for the Warriors going forward. And I'll say this, just watching how Danny Green played, Siakam, how they collectively played, the Toronto Raptors have more quality one-on-one defenders than the Golden State Warriors do. And it's been a while since we've been able to say that about any team versus the Warriors. And I don't know ultimately where that takes them in this series, but I was impressed with what the Raptors have. In spite of all the rest, the Warriors look like a tired team. They looked like an old team. And now I'm rethinking. I thought it was going to be a competitive series. I said the Warriors in 6. The Warriors have to find some answers, and I'm not sure where they're going to get them, especially if Andre Iguodala is, if his left leg has flared up again, and he's not available. They've got some issues.
No, you're right. I mean, if Iggy doesn't play, those are issues. But I thought that Golden State, their complete lack of effort had came back to bite them. And Draymond really bailed them out against Portland, just making plays, because Portland's a very average NBA team. They're very, very average. Dame Lillard can shoot from half court. There's no question there. CJ McCollum can fill it up. Past that, they're very, very average. There's nothing special. Steve Kerr tonight plays 11 deep. And, Rick, I want to ask you this because it really concerns me. Is this him pulling out his best Greg Popovich impersonation, as you saw they had dinner a couple nights ago, and just saying, hey, we're so good, trust the system, play, and we'll turn it on the fourth? Or is this him going, we can't afford for another guy to get hurt. Let's try to limit some minutes and see what we get out of everybody. I'm kind of torn right now.
No, it's the latter, 100%. He's looking at it and saying, I need to find a way to squeeze minutes out of my complementary players. That's why he started Jordan Bell. It was, I got to find a way to milk some minutes out of him because I can't expect to play Kevon Looney 30, 35 minutes. I thought it was a huge mistake to bring DeMarcus Cousins in when he did. You discovered that DeMarcus is not ready to play, and I would have rather given him a couple more days and used that as a little boost in game 2, sort of a break the glass and get the fire axe out, just to give me a little boost, like I have another card to play, than to play him in this game. I mean, there was one play where, actually, there was a couple where you just saw this game's going to be too quick for him. I don't see any way in which DeMarcus is going to be able to have an impact. And if I wondered about that going in, the way he played confirmed it for me.
Yeah, I didn't think he was necessarily horrible, but I thought he didn't make an impact
and I think Serge Ibaka beat him down the floor, got a dunk. Then there was another play where
Kyle Lowry went right by him.
Kyle Lowry went by him, and then there was another play where he was 2-on-1 at the basket. Pascal gets the ball. He reacts to Pascal.
Mm-hmm.
Pascal throws it to Serge, and he couldn't turn to get back in the play, and he kind of tackles Serge. So I didn't think it was horrible, but plays like that add up.
Yep.
And there's another strong dynamic. You brought up starting Jordan Bell. Well, you know what the Raptors did? Hats off to their defense. They double-teamed off Jordan Bell.
Yep.
And Curry didn't pass the ball to Jordan Bell. So, Rick, when I see situations like that, I go, dang, that does hurt Steph Curry. Dang, that does hurt their ball movement. You know, there's even a play, too, and I don't know if this sticks out in your mind. Draymond was in with Cousins. Draymond gets the ball on the short roll where he's open, and he goes to drive to the basket where he normally lobs it up to the big man who's in the dunker.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Cousins was standing on the elbow rather than in the dunker.
Yep.
Looney normally gets a lob dunk on that play by being in the right spot. DeMarcus was kind of doing his thing, or maybe just being rusty, and it blew up that play. And that's like a 95% success rate on that play.
Yeah.
You know, coming from Draymond to, you know, whoever it is. He's so good at that read.
Well, and you could tell that it had been more than a dozen games since DeMarcus had played, because you watch him on offense and he was feeling his way along. He was trying to figure out, where am I supposed to go and when am I supposed to be there? The whole time he was just tentative on everything. And you know, in the regular season you can get away with that, but in the NBA Finals, that's deadly. And the plays, you know this. Once guys have measured you and they go, oh, I can go by you. I can get a step on you from this place. You're done. You're done, because they're gonna do it every time. The confidence in, I'm gonna get something, and then what happens is, if you react, so you're trying to get there early, you get there early, and now they reverse it on you, and you can't get back. Not if you're in DeMarcus's shape right now, and it's not his fault. It's the result of him being out as long as he's been. And I just thought, starting Jordan Bell, going to DeMarcus as early as they did, was a sign that Steve Kerr is worried and is worried about riding his main horses, too long and too hard with Kevin Durant out. By the way, I heard again from someone, 1% chance that Kevin Durant plays in this series. And I would think that 1% is if it ends up going 7 games.
Wow. And check this out. In all reality, DeMarcus Cousins really shouldn't play. If you ask me what the Warriors' A game is right now, he doesn't play, or they're very limited minutes. And Rick, keep in mind, he played 8 minutes tonight.
Right.
You think Kerr has a gumption to sit him and have him not play? Because keep in mind, Andrew Bogut was the guy who didn't play tonight.
Right. Well, that's what I don't understand. I really, and again, the way Kerr talked about where Cousins was before the series started, I thought, I wasn't sure that we were going to see him, and I certainly didn't think we were going to see him in Game 1. I'm still trying to figure out why he played DeMarcus in Game 1.
Well, keep in mind, too.
He didn't look he didn't look ready to me.
I felt the same way. If I saw some of those clips from them scrimmaging, and I was like, that's not NBA regular season level basketball, and it sure ain't NBA Finals level basketball, the way they were scrimmaging. Yeah. And if they're going to play anybody, you know, Damian Jones maybe is someone I throw out there, but you made all these promises to Boogie. He God bless him, he fights to get back. Yeah. But if you want to win, it's something I'm going to look at. Now, I can't just say he's the reason they lost. No. But their mentality, dude, it didn't help.
No, but again, I'll go back to, I look at all the defenders they had on the floor. Who offensively had an advantage? Who What matchup were you looking to exploit? Because they have to play, because he was milking minutes, and you had to play Jordan Bell, and you were playing Kevon Looney, and you played Jonas Jerebko a little bit, like Alfonso McKinney. There were times where they had at least 2 non-scorers on the floor. And meanwhile, Toronto had 5 threats out there. With Marc Gasol playing this way and knocking down threes, he's a threat. Danny Green finally found his shot. To me, that was maybe the biggest difference. Danny Green being able to defend and then hitting wide open threes. And this is the other thing, because you were saying like it was a lack of effort or whatever. This is who the Warriors have been a lot this year, and people simply have not exploited it. But their rotations were defensive rotations. I mean, how many times did you see one guy on the weak side and he would react late to the ball? And if he did, there was just one more pass to a corner 3, and there was nobody near that guy. It wasn't as if the Raptors had to work that hard to take the open threes that they got. And I mean, obviously they can play harder, but I don't know that they have any easy solutions for that.
It was unacceptable. I know exactly what you're talking about. It was unacceptable. There were wide open shot after wide open shot, and I know you draw up a scouting report in these situations. You say he's a non-shooter. Don't rotate to him. Meet him at the rim. He's going to come to you. He doesn't want to shoot. He doesn't want to shoot. We screamed that about guys in a scouting report. Well, hats off to Nick Nurse, because all the role players, whether they were shooters or not, they stepped into those shots confidently.
Yeah.
And the Warriors dared them.
Yes.
And at this point in the NBA Finals, you're daring guys to shoot?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
How many times did you see guys catch the 3, hesitate, reset their feet, and then shoot it? I saw Siakam do it. I saw Gasol do it. I think I saw Danny Green do it. Like multiple times where it was, oh, you're daring me? I don't really want to take this. Oh, you're daring me to shoot it? Oh, you're not going to come out on me? Oh, I have all day to take it? Okay, yep. I will.
Yep.
It was, and look, here's the thing. I mean, they have enough decent passers and they have enough rim runners with Siakam, with Ibaka. You can even throw it up for Gasol. That I look at the length of the Raptors. Again, I'm trying to hold back, but I saw a lot of things, and they didn't get anything out of Kawhi Leonard, and Kyle Lowry really wasn't a big factor. I mean, I will say this: if I'm Nick Nurse right now, if I have hopes of winning this series, winning it, not just making it competitive, winning it, at some point I'm going to need Kawhi Leonard to close. I'm going to need him to. I can't expect Pascal Siakam to win me the series. A closeout game. I can't expect that. I'm looking for Kawhi to do that.
I do agree to that. And they never got in a situation where it was a do or die situation. They played at Toronto's tempo.
Yep.
Which is they relied on their defense.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they did a little extra offensively. Not a lot, but a little extra. I called it that they're going to have to score in the 120s to beat Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
Because as ugly as it was, Golden State kept coming. They weren't going to go away. They kept coming. And they wind up scoring 118, Rick. So I will say it wasn't a pretty effort. I feel like Toronto has more. But if I have to grade an effort grade for Golden State, which is scary, I would grade their effort 70 to 75%. I'm not sure where you are.
C minus.
I think you said too much.
C minus.
So you're going 69.
Yeah.
Okay, so keep that in mind as we talk up Toronto, and I hope it goes 7 because I get paid more money for being out here. So keep that in mind. But there's so many errors. If I'm Steve Kerr, I'm throwing the board at and I'm breaking TVs. I'm dropping chairs. I'm like, hey, like wake the like sometimes ain't no strategy speech.
Yeah.
Ain't no hey, we'll crack back. We'll run here. Like you give it to your team live.
No, I agree. Lost in it was a pretty damn good game by Steph Curry. Steph Curry has been beaten up a lot about how he plays in finals and that he struggles in them. I thought he found a way to create a lot of shots when there weren't a lot of easy shots being created by the Warriors offense, in large part because as you said, the energy and the effort just wasn't there. I thought Steph did a number of things. I don't know what his final numbers are. I know he was 30 plus, but I felt as if Steph did a lot of things, and I also appreciated. I don't know what it's going to mean. I appreciated his attitude at the end of the game, where one, he still played to the end. Two, he was like, okay, you know what? These guys are going to make a series of it. Cool. I'm ready here. I'm here. I'm ready for the challenge. There wasn't any disappointment, whatever it might be. I loved his body language after that game. It was like, okay, game on. Cool. You guys won game one. Let's go. Let's get ready for game two.
Well, Rick, I did like that. That stuck out to me. So I worked the post-game presser tonight, and I heard numerous times, how loud was it? Have you seen anything like that before? Has it ever been like that? Kyle Lowry, the guy who's been in Toronto for ages, he's the veteran on this squad. He said, "I've never seen the arena like this. Never seen the environment like this. This is crazy." Do you think that rattled the Warriors at all? It may have not looked like it, but there's just some weird things going on in the game.
Yeah. I can't speak for guys like Kevon Looney, Alfonso McKinney. I mean, the one thing that you do have is you're asking guys that have never had to play as prominent a role. And not that you're asking them to do big things, but you started Jordan Bell. You're looking for him to give you something. DeMarcus Cousins never played on this stage before. Kevon Looney never counted on he's kind of a main guy now as a result of everything. They've never had to deliver and have that poise. And so I guess I think the crowd could have had an impact on a couple of guys. I don't think honestly, some of the things that we saw, the turnovers, the lackadaisical, Andre passing it to Steph when he's not looking in the backcourt and the ball going out of bounds, they've been doing that all year. And I feel it's not, people look at it and just carelessness. It's not. This is teams just mentally fatigued from a fifth run and riding the same horses. And the guy that saved them, the people didn't give enough account to or credit, is Kevin Durant. You take him, and he takes so much weight off of everybody. Yeah, okay, so sometimes things bog down and doesn't play with the same flow and beauty. But he gets you he gets you the easiest 30 points you could ever ask for. And he puts so much pressure on the other team to work that much harder to contain him. And he keeps the other team, it's a little bit like when Will Blackman talks about playing against Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, is you're like, oh, you're always on edge. You're always nervous that no matter what you do, you can't stop him. You're hoping to make things hard on him. Well, you take that out, and now everybody has to play at a higher level of efficiency, and you hope to get something out of a Looney or a Jerebko or a Bell or a Quinn Cook. And when you don't, and Iguodala's hobbled, it suddenly looks a lot different.
Who's the effort reflect on most? If I just in mind that pops out, I think Draymond. And I don't know if his confidence was shot a little bit by being scored on by Pascal.
Yeah.
First, it's kind of like, I don't think he's that good. And it's like, dang, he scored on me. But he pops to mind immediately. And then I thought it was a stupid game plan the way they played Kawhi. I thought that game plan, when you spot It's called spotting. When you send a guy over to kind of sit in the lane.
Yeah.
Against a defender.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It's like a shadow defender. It's a shadow second defender.
It's a very lazy defense, and you take away from your aggression. And when you spot the guy on the basketball, is supposed to be very aggressive because he knows he has someone behind him.
Right.
And I thought they just kind of stood there like it was a damn zone.
Yeah, they didn't press up.
I thought that took away from what they were, if that made sense, Rick.
Well, the other part is that they did shadow him, but Kawhi really wasn't getting anything done. So it slowed him down. But and a lot, and this has to do with the rotations were then slow off of that. So they weren't really pressing up on him, but they also weren't rotating back when the ball swung. So all that happened was you had a guy out of position and then not recovering fully on the other side, and you had all these looks. But again, I just look at like Pascal Siakam. I'll ask you this because I'm really curious on your take. And he, to me, was the most intriguing player. He was the guy that I had the biggest question about coming in to the finals. Like, could he be that? Because I wasn't always impressed with his basketball acumen and the way he played against the Bucks. I didn't think he always played very smart. But he got 30, 32. He had 30 plus tonight. Was this a Pascal Siakam game and now you got to look for somebody else? Or do you think he can replicate this in some fashion? Maybe not every game, but give you at least one more game like this in this series?
I believe he can do it again, and maybe again and again. I say that because playoff basketball is always about matchups.
Yep.
And against Milwaukee, he was going pound for pound with Lopez, pound for pound with Giannis. And at times, he made plays that even Kawhi Leonard could make, and those two are. I'm pretty sure they're the best shot blockers in the league as a front court combined.
Yeah,
I'd be very surprised. Maybe Drummond and Griffin might be somewhere around there, but I would assume those two are the best shot blocking duos in the entire NBA. When you look at this Golden State squad, he's having a field day at the rim. He can't believe how easy. Yeah, it is. And keep in mind, Rick, there are moments he was going straight through Giannis's chest and scoring. And that's unheard of. And I don't think those moves that he made were really credited. And now when you go at Draymond Green, who's kind of just the hard worker, the underachieving guy, or the little guy, that's a whole lot easier. And I thought that was really glanced over.
Yeah. Draymond is better against bigger guys, a steady diet of bigger guys, because he can kind of exploit them at the other end. He's strong enough to kind of hold them and clever enough to make them uncomfortable, not to let them really feel him, and be able to kind of throw them off and poke at the ball and not let them get into their moves real easy. But a guy like Siakam, that's a problem. And you said, that you looked at Draymond when it came to, where the energy absence was. I also feel as if seeing Draymond scored on the way he was is a drain to everybody else. Because you're like, oh, that's our best guy.
Hey, you punch the bully, and it's almost like you go to jail. Your first day in jail, you find the biggest, baddest guy, you go punch him in the face.
Yeah. And then everybody's like, oh, okay. Yeah. No, that to me was alarming. And the question I had coming in was, okay, so they milked the ISOs with Kawhi. And we knew that he was coming in and he wasn't going to be 100%. Can they do that same thing against the Warriors and live off of that? And the answer was no. But what was shocking is they didn't have to, because they were getting enough from every place else. Danny Green chipping in, Fred VanVleet chipping in, Pascal Siakam going off Marcus Saul getting comfortable. That's the thing. Now the lion that the Warriors have to cage in game 2 is the comfort level that multiple Raptors felt in game 1. You're going to have to shake their confidence because you had a lot of guys stepping into shots or getting to their spots and feeling like, oh, I can do this. They're going to come there. I see no reason why they wouldn't be just as aggressive. The surprising thing for me is that I thought that they were going to try to play at a slower pace. And there was a little clip of Nick Nurse talking to the team beforehand saying, hey, you got to keep running it right down their throat because they're going to try to do the same thing to you. And I think ultimately it was the smart play because it did make the Warriors look old and tired. But I figured that the Raptors would come out and try to utilize the same sort of approach that they had against the Bucks, which was play a little bit slower, a little more methodical, and don't make it an up and down game.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. But you know what, though? What really disappoints me, I'm going to my disappointing list, which is what actually gives me faith in Golden State the next game. The Raptors are a team that struggles to score. Absolutely struggles to score. And it wasn't just the dare shots. They got beat in transition. And it was a couple plays where, like, they just threw it ahead and scored.
Yep.
How do you allow transition against a team that struggles to score? Because that team needs easy buckets. And they weren't getting back, and Pascal Siakam was having a field day in transition. It's funny. It's funny. I want to add this in, too, about Pascal, Rick. Rico Hines, he worked out with Rico, and Rico's a guru. He worked out with Pascal, Looney, KD. I know we talked about that. And the one thing the first thing in his mind about Pascal is he was like, yo, he is so damn fast. He's one of the fastest dudes he's ever seen. And I watched Pascal and I'm like, yo, like he's ridiculously fast. And his motor is insane, dude. He covers ground at an insane rate. And even in the last series, there are a couple times he was in the paint and he closed out in darn near blocked 3-point shots. Like if I don't know if they have the trackers, he's got to be one of the most run or covering the most space or his speed, for anybody right now in the playoffs, Rick.
Yeah. The Raptors shot almost 40% from 3-point range, 13 for 33, which basically played the Warriors even. 12 for 31 the Warriors were. Do you think that the Raptors do you think this was an outlier? Because that's another question that I had is whether the Raptors could match them from 3-point range. They did in this game. Can they do that consistently through the series? And I say that thinking about all the wide open threes that the Warriors let them have.
No, I don't believe so. The effort wasn't there. The respect or raise. It was almost like a trap game.
Yeah.
And, Rick, you've seen this from Golden State. This is really a norm for them. And in game 1, they play like almost like a regular season game plan where they play you in coverage. They don't switch every screen.
Yeah.
They kind of chill back. And it's really disrespectful. Like, hey, can we beat you with our
vanilla, with our base plan.
Yes. They gave you the vanilla.
Yeah.
They gave you the vanilla, bro.
No, I get that. All that said, I thought it might be different because that happens to them when they're at home. They're way too relaxed. They're way like our crowd and our fourth quarter ability and our explosive offense. We can kind of just mess around for 2-3 quarters. Maybe we'll come out and we'll blast you at the beginning of the third quarter, but we don't really have to get after it early. But this was on the road, and that's why I expected that and it was without KD, it's without them at full strength. It's why I expected and hoped that I'd see a more committed effort from the Warriors in game 1. And this is the question that I have. I said Warriors in 6. At the beginning of the year, and I think you remember this, I kept saying the champion's going to be whoever comes out of the Eastern Conference, because it's just going to be a matter of attrition. And that's the thing that with the Warriors that I just wonder. I keep wondering how much gas is left in the tank. And could you say that the Raptors are the best team that they will face in these playoffs? Is this the best team when you look at who they have to go through? Is this going to be the toughest opponent that they face?
Man, you know what? Honestly, I thought the toughest opponent that they would have faced was the Rockets. And the Rockets really got breezed through.
Yep.
I think the big note with the Rockets is that Chris Paul is not the same.
No.
And he had an exceptional year last year, and he shot the deep three very well off the bounce. He scored. He beat a lot of his one-on-one matchups.
Yeah.
And you just did not see it. And Harden didn't have help. And apparently they're arguing over ball movement.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, who am I going to pass the ball to? What are you going to do with it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I may be on board with saying that the Raptors have gotten so much better in the postseason. And a lot of teams sometimes whoever can evolve, whoever can develop. And you're seeing chemistry with Kawhi Leonard. You're seeing him actually play in back-to-back games. They're one of the teams that I really favored behind Boston.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Boston would be there for chemistry purposes, but they're kind of just figuring it out as they go. But I'm not mad at saying that they're giving the best effort.
Yeah.
And I'll essentially throw this to you. Outside of the Clippers played them the best so far.
I would say this too. I feel as if now, looking at how this game 1 went, the Bucks did a better job of preparing the Raptors to face the Warriors than the Blazers did to prepare the Warriors to face the Raptors.
So agreed. And Rick, that's such an undervalued statement, dude. It so is, because you come out and you're like, dude, I just went to war with somebody. I had to make adjustment after adjustment. Like, we had to prepare. There was so much that had to go into the game plan, or like, hey man, like we really had to work to beat this team. And I felt like the Clippers gave that to the Warriors in round 1, and then they breezed through the Rockets. They gave it to the Rockets. And then after they gave it to the Rockets, they knew they were so much better than Portland. Portland, man, they prepared them for nothing, bro.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's going to be interesting. Certainly we get a game 2 on Sunday. Man, that's huge now. Huge game 2. I'm just glad. I hope that we were going to have a competitive, compelling series. Certainly game 1 sets us up for that. It'll be interesting to see the adjustments, and particularly where the Warriors go from here in game 2. So don't forget, we are having a drawing. We're giving away prizes. But to get involved in that, you have to rate the show. So wherever you get your podcast, iTunes or wherever, just rate the show and screenshot the rating, and then send it to @BucherFriends, and you will be eligible to win prizes. So in the next podcast, I'll be joined by Will Blackman, and we will be certainly breaking down game 2 in the same fashion. In the meantime, as always, thanks for listening.